What's going on? It's your boy Sermon at Sermon's Domain on Twitter. Somehow, some way, Post Malone became this huge megastar of the streaming era. He released his debut album Stoney at the end of 2016, and it has yet to leave the Billboard Top 200 list. And even as I speak, it's in the top 40. Like, his streaming numbers are through the roof. Is it the infectious sound? Is it his personality? It's probably a combination of everything. If you're a fan of Post Malone, you love the music, you love who he is as a person. And now Post Malone is about to break any records that he set for himself in his career with his sophomore album titled Beerbongs Bentleys. Now let me talk about my favorite songs, the first of which is titled Better Now. One of Post Malone's biggest strengths as an artist is relationship reflection. He's able to talk about everything that he's gone through in a way that is both catchy and emotional. And that's what you get with this record, Better Now, as well as my second favorite song, and we'll get to that. There's a record on Stoney. It's called I Fall Apart. And to me, it's the best song on that album. It's the one that I keep coming back to. It's the one that I praised in my review. And in a similar yet different way, Better Now sort of satisfies that same subject matter on this album. He says, I never meant to let you down. I would have given you everything. And it's not just like the words itself, it's the way he delivers them. You might be thinking those lyrics right there don't sound any unique or they don't sound new. I've heard that before. It's less about what he's saying and more about how he's saying it as well as the execution of it all. I think the one knock that I have on Better Now is that the production itself is just like decent at best. I get it. If you take that production away, the song ceases to exist because it would take a different shape if it were over some other beat. But honestly, it's nothing special in my opinion. My other favorite song is titled Stay. Strip away all the theatrics. Just give Post Malone his voice and a guitar. That's all he needs to make an amazing sounding record. This is one of the best moments on the entire Beerbongs Bentleys album. Post is able to use his voice to convey emotion, and when he pairs it with his crying like crooning, it's a winning formula. One of the things that I love most about this record is just how catchy it is. How immediately when you hear that hook, you want to sing along with it, even if you're a bad singer. You want to try to hit those high notes. You want to try to feel the same feeling that Post Malone is feeling when he sings his heart out on this record. This particular part really has nothing, no section. It's just my favorite line on the entire album. It comes off a record called Candy Paint. He says, God damn, I love paper like I'm Michael Scott. Anybody who knows me, if you follow me on Twitter, at Sermon's Domain, you know that I am a huge fan of The Office, and really who isn't, probably bad people. But I love any Office references, Boy Meets World references. I love pop culture references in general. And so the fact that Post Malone dropped the Michael Scott bar means it is the best on the entire album. My two honorable mentions. The first one is Rockstar featuring 21 Savage. I think it's clear why this is on here. It was the first single. It's a hugely successful song. And it's one of the catchiest on the album. Like, I probably will say that a few more times in regards to Post Malone, but he makes this catchy music. And that is what draws people in. Now, I will admit that 21 Savage being on there is a pretty much unnecessary guest feature. In fact, I've listened to the record a lot, and I'm trying to think of what 21 actually says in his verse. I can't even do it. My other honorable mention is called Blame It On Me. And pretty much I love this record for all the reasons that I love Better Now and Stay. It's just one of those records that Post Malone is good at using his voice. He's good at projecting like that hurt feeling. Now it's time for critical moments. So I jotted a couple notes down before I get into my whole big thing about this album that I dislike. The first was that Post Malone uses the phrase beautiful boobies. I can't take somebody serious when they say the word boobies. It sounds so 7th grade. The first time that I heard Beerbongs and Bentleys and I listened to him say that, I was like, what is this? And so that is something that I couldn't rock with, and I had to jot it down. The other is that Post Malone also uses another phrase that just sounds weird. He says, quote, I'm gonna put the pussy in a body bag. And it got me thinking, like, damn, what if we as normal people talk to women, particularly our significant other, the way rappers talk about women? Like, if we were to tell our girlfriend that we were gonna put her pussy in the body bag tonight, like, it's a thought I had. It was weird. It's weird to say. It's weird to hear on a record. And I feel like Post isn't even the first person to say something like that. So there are a number of things, some small, some big, that add up and make Post Malone's sophomore album less than memorable. It's definitely not better than Stoney in my opinion. I think part of that is because Stoney was more melodically satisfying, whereas you get flashes of that on this album, but ultimately it's too much filler. And that's the other problem. Post Malone is not unique or interesting enough to carry himself for 18 whole songs. So it's like if you trim the fat, get rid of some of this music, you have a stronger album. Because like I've mentioned earlier, there are good records on here. And there's even a few more. I maybe like 5, 6, 7 songs off of this album. According to Hits Daily Double, Post Malone's Beerbongs and Bentleys is already eligible to be platinum. That is the cheat code of having a huge hit single. Rockstar and Psycho have propelled this album to do well right out of the gate. It's one of the things that, hate it or love it, that's just how the music industry is right now. I don't want people to see the numbers and confuse this for an amazing album that's going to transcend space and time. It's not. It's not a super disappointing album, but it's not one that is going to stick with me outside of, 5, 6, 7 songs. And that is less than half right there. Post Malone is in no danger from having a disappointing album though. He just needed to step it up in the content department and also trim the fat of some of these songs that just don't hit. So those are my thoughts on Post Malone's sophomore album, Beerbongs and Bentleys. After you listen to this album, I want to know what you think about it. I feel like I might be in the minority when it comes to this album. Maybe I'm the only one that doesn't like a lot of it. But I do want to hear from you guys. What do you like about this album? Do you think Post Malone is unique and interesting enough to pull off all 18 songs or close to it? Talk to me in the comment section below, and then like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, share the video. Follow me on Twitter at Sermons Domain. Check out some of my other videos. I got other reviews. I got discussions. I got interviews with so many popular names over the years. Check all my other content out. And as always, thank you for your time. I appreciate you for watching. And until next time, peace.